In this video, we're going to explore future faking, what it is, why it's so damaging, and at the end of the video, we're going to explore some tactics to help you put things into perspective. So if you're ready, let's dive in. Welcome to the Common Ego community. My name is Christina, and on this channel, we explore narcissistic abuse, its connection with spirituality, and we attempt to answer the question, where do we go from here? So if that all sounds good to you, be sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And if you're already subscribed, thank you and welcome back. Okay, so what is future faking? Future faking is when a person promises something that they know you want in the future in order to get what they want in the present moment. Sounds a lot like a narcissist, doesn't it? All right, so let's say you're in a new relationship and everything is going great. You feel like you and your new partner are so connected, you're soulmates. And you get to the point where you start talking about the future. And this is always a good idea in a new relationship because you want to make sure you're on the same page. Do you and your partner have any non-negotiables that are not aligned? So maybe you want a family and the other person absolutely does not. So that's something that knowing up front could really help save you a lot of pain if the person that you're dealing with is honest. So you go ahead and you have that conversation and everything's aligned. Oh my goodness, maybe you really are soulmates. But what you don't realize is that you're having the conversation with a narcissist who is currently in the idealization or love bombing phase. So what they're actually doing is reflecting back to you what you want to hear. They desperately want and need supply from you in that moment, so they're going to say whatever they can to get it. But as the relationship progresses, you're probably going to start mapping this life out together. So let's use the example of wanting to buy a house together. You're with the narcissist and you two decide that you're going to get a house in this certain neighborhood. And you may even look at real estate listings together and talk about what it's going to be like when you're living there, where you'll go for coffee, where your kids will go to school. But it doesn't take long before you see that the narcissist isn't actually following through on anything that would get you closer to these goals, to this future that you thought you were planning together. So in the example of buying the house, if you're actually getting ready to do this, you're probably going to be doing things like cleaning up your credit, or making sure that you can get the best rate, and putting money aside for the down payment, because that's something that you're going to need. But then you notice that this other person that you're with isn't saving money and they're not paying their bills on time. They're doing absolutely nothing that will get you closer to your goals. And that's just one example. You can look at many, many different examples, and I'm sure you have some from your own life. It could be that you agree that you're going to get married and the engagement never comes, or maybe the engagement does come, but the marriage never does. Or maybe you're planning a vacation together and same thing, you have to save money, but the narcissist doesn't do that. So they just keep talking a big game. And you'll notice that they'll bring it up in times when they need to get you back on the hook. So if you've just had a big argument and they want you to forgive them for whatever they did, they're very likely to bring up this future faking stuff. Like, oh, we have to have, aren't you excited about this thing that we're going to do together? And hey, do you want to start planning this? They'll bring it up again, even though it went completely cold before. They'll bring it up again to do that future faking thing so you can focus on the future and not the present. Because what's going on in the present is awful. I mean, it's a complete train wreck. It's an emotional roller coaster. It's all the bad things. It's got you so stressed out that you can barely think about the future. But the narcissist knows how to get you. They know what you want out of life, and they're going to promise it to you. And there's nothing more powerful than that. So when they dangle this carrot in front of you, it's so much more appealing to think about the future than it is to focus on the present, where things are going on. Maybe the narcissist is lying to you about finances, maybe they're cheating. There's all this stuff going on in the present that's really, really not desirable. But as long as you focus on the future, the narcissist doesn't have to be held accountable for the present. To a narcissist who's future faking, the future is nothing more than a carrot they're dangling in front of you. And it keeps moving. That target keeps moving. The future never comes. And this is a good reminder for us that the present moment is the only reality we have. And you already know that with a narcissist, it's the only reality that will ever be. Even if you get the things that the narcissist is promising you, it's not going to be the way you imagined it. Because when you were imagining that future, it was without all the stuff that's going on in the present. It was as an escape to the present. That's how the narcissist presented it, and that's how you saw it. And that's why it was so powerful. So unfortunately, future faking is powerful to get you on the hook, but then it's also powerful to keep you on the hook. So after the relationship, if you're dealing with a narcissist who hoovers, they can use that future faking to get you back. Because it's natural to mourn the future that you thought you were going to have with somebody. So if you're feeling that right now, if you're feeling sad because you feel like you're missing out on something, you feel like not only have you lost this person who you thought was important to your life, but you've also lost this future that you thought you were going to have. I do have 2 things that might help a little bit. Okay, so the first thing is to just remind yourself that it was never real to begin with. And this is something that I'm sure you've done already. Understand that it was nothing more than a glorified lie. Even if you believe that the narcissist believed it, or if you're dealing with another cluster B personality, even if you believed that they believed their own lie, that they wanted the same thing as you, it was never going to happen. And they must have known on some level that it wasn't going to happen. They've never been able to take this step before, and also, there were things that were in their control that they could have done to help it happen, and they didn't. All along, while they weren't doing the things they were supposed to do to make it happen, they were still selling you that fake future. This future faking technique, it's a manipulation tactic that these people often use. This future that they promised you, it never existed. And the only thing that exists is here and now. So now we have to decide what we want to do with our here and now. We need to spend more time in the present moment. And if you meditate, this is a really good time to do it. This will help you get back into the habit of looking at and enjoying the present moment. And the second thing you can do to try and reframe your thinking about this lost future is to own the future, not the person. So the narcissist was reflecting what you wanted in this future faking tactic. They may have been embellishing upon it too. They may have added their own spin on it. If you liked it, if you liked their spin, take it, own it. That's yours. But I think one of the most valuable things we can remind ourselves after these relationships is that in that first love bombing stage, what the narcissist is doing is reflecting the best parts of you, and they're reflecting the things that you like and the things that you want. So that future that you were planning together, supposedly planning together, it was yours all along. They didn't own that future. And you know what? They don't deserve that future. It's yours. Own it. Reclaim it. And if you have to adjust it, adjust it. But take it back. That you can still have the things. Maybe you can't have all the things. There are, different situations happen. Maybe some things were time sensitive and you can't have them anymore. It always amazes me how things can come back into alignment, and how things that you thought you wanted, you can have some version of it. Maybe it's not exactly the same, but you can own what you want. You can own your future from here on out. And you don't have to rely on somebody who's always changing the game. Because when you were in it, there's a good chance you were feeling like you were always chasing a moving target. You don't have to do that anymore. You can own your future. Even if it felt like you were closer to it before, you really weren't. Not if you were with an emotionally abusive person. And I know that some of you are in this situation now where not only are you trying to get over all this future faking stuff, but the narcissist is throwing that fake future in your face with a new supply. So not only did you not get it, but they're giving it to someone else, or so it seems. And the one thing I have to say about that is that it's still fake. If you were to get all of the things you wanted when you were with the narcissist, if that future faking ever came to fruition, it wouldn't have been good. it would have still been emotionally abusive, and you still would have been struggling with issues of self-love and self-worth, as we all do when we're in emotionally abusive relationships. These people are not capable of the self-reflection necessary to actually change, so whatever's going on in that new relationship is more or less what would have happened if the same events took place in your relationship. If anything, you can be thankful that you're out and that you can take control of your future once again. And if you're interested in learning more about the new supply and whether the narcissist is actually treating them better, I have a video on that. I'll link to it in the card and the description. If you found this video helpful, let me know by hitting that like button. And if you're not already subscribed, consider doing so. And I will see you next time.